So what are the needles doing when we insert them into the points? First thing that they do is they connect to the person's chi. Right? We're connecting to their energy. But then what you do from there is you guide the chi, you manipulate the chi to tell it to do what you want it to do. And there's different techniques. We're going to talk about techniques in a little bit, which will be fun. So when you're directing the chi to do what it needs to help doing, you're telling the body, hey, we're noticing that something's out of balance here. We're noticing that we need to build blood more. So there's certain points that tonify blood. So what you're doing is you're guiding the chi at that point to focus on creating more blood. Acupuncture needles themselves interact with the chi. You can't create blood just with the needle. You can guide the body's chi to create blood though. Blood is a yin substance. Substances which are yin, you need something like an herb or food medicine to nourish it. Some interesting new research is looking at when you needle a point, what happens in the brain. And so what they're noticing is that the biochemistry of the brain is changing, and the response to pain is changing with it, for instance. So the other thing that we do is we really move the chi in the blood. When we're moving chi in blood, this is a treatment principle for pain. Remember, anytime you have pain, you always have chi and blood stasis. Chi and blood aren't moving. So one thing you can do is move the chi in the blood. Something else you can do is you can take chi out. Let's say somebody has a viral infection. You want to clear some of that chi. You want to pull it out. You want to clear the heat. You can do that. So there are needling techniques. I'm not going to talk about each one of these, but just to show you that there's so many different things, and we'll talk about them in general, and I'll give you some examples. Tonifying is when you want to strengthen something. Reducing is when you want to sedate it. You want to pull evil chi out. You want to clear heat from the body that's pathological. But there's that difference. One way of tonifying is rotating. This is probably the most common way to tonify and reduce. Tonify clockwise 3 or 9 times, and you're strengthening the chi. Rotating counterclockwise 2 or 6 times, and you're reducing the chi.
So what's the lifting? How do you...
The lifting is if you're more pulling outwards versus putting in. So the pulling out is pulling chi out. The thrusting is pushing chi in.
But the needle is in.
You're not pulling it out all the way. It's within the skin.
Okay.
And it's not really moving much, but you have this like pulling sensation outwards versus this pushing in sensation inwards.
Oh, it's more intentional.
It's intentional, and it's like slightly more pressure going one way than the other,
Oh, okay.
but not enough to really pull it out.
Oh, okay.
You may move it upwards slightly, but you're not going to pull it all the way out.
Oh, okay. And so the needle on inhale or exhale, that's when you tell them, okay, do this when I'm putting the needles.
This one is not as commonly used. I like using this one because I think it's powerful, but it's not as commonly used because it requires more coordination. So when you're needling on the inhale, they're filling in, right? They're filling in with their breath. So when you needle on the inhale, you're pulling chi out because they're filling in and you can pull out. But when they're exhaling, then there's room for you to put more in. So needling on the exhale tonifies.
I've done the breath. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just have you breathe and they don't care whether you're inhaling or exhaling.
I thought it would exhale because I thought it might go in easier and...
True, and so it helps calm people down.
Yeah.
When they're nervous.
With channel and against channel, that means?
So the channel pathways, for instance, the lung channel starts here and it goes out this way. So if you were to needle with the direction of the channel, you'd be tonifying it. You needle against the direction of the channel.
Oh.
The angle that you insert,
Okay,
are you inserting that way or are you inserting that way? Will determine whether you're tonifying by going with the channel or reducing by going against it.
Okay, thank you.
The first thing you always want to do, though, is you always need to obtain the qi. And there's different ways. You put the needle in, and when you put it in, it's like kind of flimsy unless the qi is there. Unless the qi has come to that point really strongly. As soon as that qi comes to that point, that needle stands straight up. It won't flop over. So ways you can do that is, if you just simply grasp it, this is the most subtle way. If you just grasp it, then it pulls the energy to that point. But people go up and down to try to coax it to come out. That's one way to do it.
Painful.
The thing about what's usually painful is the surface of the skin. That's where all the nerves are. And if you've seen someone who uses a guide tube and they tap it in, it's to just get it through the surface really quick so that it's not painful and you don't get that interaction. But, or you can do that freehand without a guide tube if you're really good and get through that surface really quick and you're avoiding the pain. Once you're underneath the surface, as long as you're not hitting something that it would be painful, it doesn't hurt at all. Sometimes it hurts a little bit, but really doesn't. I'm always hesitant to say that because people get so nervous about the pain, but it's really not much. You know, it's like a little pinprick at most, or it's like a grasping tight sensation.